Learn English with English Thing Lab.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something really interesting. Not just English, but your brain.
And more specifically, why sometimes learning feels easy and other times your brain feels completely blocked.
You sit down to study. You read the same sentence 3 times, and somehow nothing stays in your mind.
But then maybe another day, you're relaxed, calm, maybe walking outside, and suddenly English feels easier. You remember more. You understand faster.
So, what changes? Your intelligence, your memory? Not really.
What changes is your mental state, the condition your brain is in.
A lot of people don't realize this, but your brain works differently in different states.
And scientists usually divide these states into different brain waves. You may have heard words like beta, alpha, theta.
Now, don't worry. This is not going to be a complicated science lesson. We're going to keep everything simple and practical.
Let's start with beta. This is your normal everyday state. When you are working, thinking, checking your phone, solving problem, your brain is usually in beta.
And beta is useful. It helps you stay active and focused. But there's a problem. Too much beta often means too much stress.
Exactly. Your brain becomes busy. Very busy. You overthink. You translate everything. You become tense while speaking English.
And when that happens, learning becomes harder. Not impossible, but heavier.
Now let's talk about alpha. This is where things get interesting.
Alpha is a calmer state, not asleep, not unconscious, just relaxed and focused.
You often enter alpha naturally. For example, when you take a quiet walk, when you listen to music, when you shower, or when you sit peacefully without stress.
And have you noticed something? Sometimes your best ideas come in moments like these, not while forcing yourself, but while relaxing.
That's because your brain becomes more open, less tense, less defensive.
And many people believe this is one of the best states for learning languages because language needs flow, not panic.
Exactly. When learners are too stressed, they stop speaking naturally. They become afraid of mistakes. Their brain freezes.
But in a calmer state, words come more easily. You stop fighting the language and start flowing with it.
Now there's also theta. This state is deeper, closer to sleep, closer to dreaming.
This is the state people often talk about in sleep learning videos. But we'll talk more about that later because there are many misunderstandings about theta.
The important thing to understand right now is simple. Your brain learns differently, depending on how you feel. And
And maybe your problem is not that you're bad at English. Maybe your brain is just too stressed.
in the next part, we'll talk about something very important. Why stress and overthinking block your English, even when you already know the words.
Stay with us. Welcome back. So now we know something important. Your brain does not learn the same way in every mental state, and this becomes very obvious when stress enters the picture.
Let's talk about something almost every English learner experiences. You know the word. You learned it before. You understood it yesterday, but suddenly, while speaking, your mind goes blank.
And later, maybe 5 minutes later, the word comes back very easily, and you think, wait, I actually knew that.
Exactly. This happens because stress changes the way your brain works. When you become nervous, your brain focuses more on danger and pressure and less on communication.
It's almost like your brain says, this is serious, don't make mistakes. And then everything becomes tense.
Your thoughts become slower. You start translating every sentence. You check your grammar too much. And instead of speaking naturally, you begin fighting with the language.
This is why many learners speak better when they are alone, or with close friends, or when they are relaxed, because the pressure disappears.
Yes, confidence is important, but calmness is even more important.
And here's something interesting. Children usually learn languages faster than adults, not because they are smarter, but because they are less afraid.
Children make mistakes constantly, and they don't care. They keep talking, they keep trying,
Adults are different. Adults want perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect sentences, and this creates tension.
which is ironic. Because language is not supposed to feel like a math exam, it's communication.
Exactly. And communication needs flow, not perfection,
This is also why some people suddenly speak better during vacations, or while walking, or late at night.
because their brain is more relaxed, less pressure, less noise.
And when the brain relaxes, language comes out more naturally.
So if you want to improve your English, you should not only ask, what should I study?
You should also ask, what state is my brain in while learning?
Because learning English while stressed all the time is like trying to swim while holding heavy bags.
In the next part, we'll talk about how to enter a better learning state naturally. Not with magic, not with strange hacks, just simple things that actually help.
Welcome back. So now we understand something important. A calm brain usually learns better than a stressed brain. But the question is, how do you actually become calmer while learning English?
And no, the answer is not study harder. Sometimes studying harder makes the problem worse because many learners already put too much pressure on themselves.
Exactly. They sit down and immediately think, I need to remember everything. I need to speak perfectly. I can't make mistakes. And the brain becomes tense before learning even starts.
So the first thing that helps is very simple. Reduce pressure, not effort. Pressure.
There's a big difference. You can still be serious about learning without making yourself anxious all the time.
One thing that helps many people enter a calmer state is changing the environment.
For example, studying outside, in a cafe, in a park, near a window.
or even just walking while listening to English. A lot of people notice that they understand more while walking.
Because movement relaxes the brain, and a relaxed brain absorbs language more naturally.
Music can also help. Not loud music, not distracting music, but calm background sounds.
This is why some people enjoy studying with rain sounds, coffee shop sounds, or soft instrumental music, because it lowers mental tension.
Another important thing is timing.
Yes, many people actually learn better at night, when the world becomes quieter and the brain slows down a little.
Less notifications, less stress, less mental noise. And suddenly, learning feels easier.
This is also connected to alpha state, that calm but focused feeling, not sleepy, just mentally lighter.
And honestly, one of the best ways to enter this state is enjoying the learning process.
Exactly. When learning feels natural, interesting, or emotionally relaxing, your brain opens up more.
That's why forcing yourself for hours usually doesn't work. But listening to an interesting podcast, watching a story, or having a relaxed conversation can work surprisingly well.
So maybe the goal is not, how can I force my brain to learn?
Maybe the better question is, how can I help my brain feel safe enough to learn?
In the next part, we'll talk about practical things you can do to use this idea in your daily English learning. Welcome back. So now we understand the idea. A calmer brain often learns better. But how can you actually use this in real life? How do you study English in a smarter way?
The first thing is, stop trying to learn too much at once. A lot of learners overload their brain. Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, translation, everything at the same time.
And the result is usually frustration because the brain gets tired very quickly.
Instead, focus on smaller amounts. One short podcast, a few useful sentences, one natural conversation.
And repeat them naturally during the day, not like a robot, just casually.
Another important thing, use English during relaxed moments.
For example, while drinking coffee, while walking, before sleeping, while cleaning your room.
This is powerful because your brain stops seeing English as work. It starts seeing it as part of life.
And that changes everything. Because language is not supposed to live only inside textbooks. It should exist in your daily routine.
Shadowing is also very useful for this, especially relaxed shadowing.
Not forcing yourself to sound perfect. Just listening and following naturally.
Your brain slowly adapts to the rhythm of English without pressure.
Another thing that helps a lot is emotional connection.
Yes, people remember things better when they feel something
That's why stories work so well. Podcasts work well. Interesting conversations work well.
because your brain is emotionally engaged, not just mechanically studying.
And honestly, sometimes learners improve more from enjoying English every day than from forcing themselves to study for 5 stressful hours.
Consistency beats intensity, especially in language learning.
So if you want better results, maybe don't ask, how many hours should I study?
Ask, how can I make English feel more natural in my life?
In the next part, we'll bring everything together and talk about the best mindset for learning English long term. So, after everything we talked about today, there's one final thing that really matters: your mindset, the way you think about learning English.
Because honestly, many people make learning much harder than it needs to be. They treat English like a test, like pressure, like something stressful they must survive.
And when learning feels heavy all the time, the brain slowly loses motivation. Even simple practice starts to feel exhausting.
But language learning is not supposed to feel like punishment. It's a skill, a long-term skill. And skills grow better in the right environment.
Think about it this way: you don't become fluent in one perfect moment. You improve through many small moments. A sentence you suddenly understand, a conversation that feels easier, a word you remember naturally.
And those small moments matter more than people realize. Because confidence is built slowly, not instantly.
A lot of learners also compare themselves too much. They see someone fluent online and think, why am I not there yet?
But they don't see the years behind that progress, the mistakes, the awkward moments, the repetition.
Every person learns differently. Some people improve fast in speaking, others improve faster in listening, and that's normal.
The important thing is staying connected to the language, not disappearing for months because you feel not good enough.
Even small daily exposure helps. A podcast, a short conversation, a few minutes of listening.
And maybe the biggest mindset shift is this: stop trying to sound perfect. Start trying to communicate.
Because real communication is not perfect. Even native speakers pause, make mistakes, forget words, change sentences halfway through.
That's part of speaking naturally.
So relax your brain a little, give yourself space to learn gradually.
And remember, a calm brain learns better than a stressed brain.
Thanks for being with us today.
See you in the next episode.
Take care.